Hello everyone, Magadini Mesa. This is Love That Ruins Me, my official YouTube channel. This is a place where I talk about embracing yourself, accepting yourself, and listening to yourself. It is also a place where I would love to say this is where psychology meets Christianity. I love Jesus, but I also love psychology. So anyway, today I'm starting a brand new topic where I am going to be talking about all things therapy. Who is a psychologist? Who is a psychiatrist? What is therapy? What are the myths surrounding therapy? What is it that us as Zimbabweans or in the Black community or whoever is going to relate to this video, what hinders us from approaching the subject of therapy? What is it about therapy that we've grown up understanding? All things therapy. Put in your comments, add whatever it is that you'd want to add in the where the subject of therapy is going to be concerned. Okay, so today, the first part of my series, we're going to be looking at the myths of therapy. We want to demystify therapy. Okay, so I'll give you a little background. I am Zimbabwean. And I think a lot of our experiences are similar. I'm not saying they're the same. And the subject of therapy has been approached more of as a taboo. I've never seen my own parents, my own sisters, my own brothers. I've never really heard growing up of anybody who was saying, I'm going to see a psychiatrist, I'm going to see a therapist. And I was reading on research, and in the late 90s or early 2000s, there were only 10 psychiatrists in the country, and 8 were foreigners. So it means 2 were Black, was Zimbabweans. And a lot of the times you find that the subject of psychology, the subject of psychiatry has been approached with a pinch of salt, where people do not really understand what it is. So you know that where there is fear, where there is the unknown, people will always tend to add on things. People will begin to add on their own little spices, and you end up having this subject of therapy as if it is the devil himself. Okay, and everybody hates it. So today, let's talk about therapy. Let's look at the myths of therapy. What is what? Okay, so I've compiled some myths that I have. I'm not saying those are the only ones. You can add more, or you can deduct whatever, but these are the ones that I have found throughout doing my research. Some of them I have believed. What about you? I don't know. So the first myth that I've noticed, or that I've discovered in our country, in my country as Black people, men generally in my nation they're viewed as strong. And the strong, or the strength of the man, is defined by you do not show weakness. You do not show your emotions. If you cry, if you complain, you're a baby. How are you going to lead your nation? We're coming from, a background of, we used to hunt. Men used to hunt, and they would come back and show their trophies, and they'll be paraded around as warriors. So to sit down and begin to cry and say, oh, my mom hit me, it is considered as pathetic. So you'll find that now all these men, they will not go to therapy. Even if people are struggling, even if people are suffering, even if people are carrying heavy burdens inside of them, you find that people will not dare to even look for help. So they just suffer in silence. So many of the addictions, I'm not saying this is the only cause, many of the addictions that we see, many of the suicides that we see, unfortunately, or some of physical diseases that are developing in our people, you find that most of them have been traced back to mental issues or mind issues, where people are just struggling. I know that a lot of stress could lead to problems like your diabetes, could lead to cancer. And I've actually seen a loved one dying from cancer caused by stress. So this is real. Okay. And then the second myth that I've heard is going to therapy means, or translate to the fact that you're a person who's not able to run your own life. You are weak, you are pathetic, so you are basically a confused human being. Listen, do not judge a person who looks for help. One of the things that I always want to tell people is going for therapy is strength. Looking for help is courage and is strength. Imagine if you're carrying a 50 kg bag of millimil. Now, I don't want to compare mental issues with millimil, but I just want to give it as an example. Imagine you're carrying it, and then you see another person approach it. I'll be like, help me. Does it mean I'm weak? It just means that I know that being helped is going to ease my burden, and it's probably not is going to save my back. And even if we're walking as the two of us, we see another person will jump in, another person will jump in, and before you know it, we have 6 people carrying 50 kgs, and it appears lighter because I have been helped. A lot of pride emanates from the fact that we think we can handle things all alone. We are ashamed of asking for help because we've been raised, Kunzi, nyarara, usataure, don't cry, it's weakness, So then now it translates to, I know I'm good, I'm fine. So now everybody who's seen going for therapy translates to, they're weak, they cannot endure their life. This is pathetic, and all this name calling and shaming that is attached to the whole subject of therapy. Another myth that I've discovered from, interacting with my people is going for therapy translates to it's an insult to your loved ones to whom you could have opened up to. I mean, come on. You have a mom, you have a dad, you have sisters, come on. You have a boyfriend, you have a husband, you have brothers, come on. You even have friends. But why are you going for therapy? Am I not good enough? Can I not hear you? People, please do not take it personally when your loved one goes for therapy. It has nothing to do with you. Sometimes a person just wants to go to an environment where they are not judged upon opening their mouth, where the people, they're not biased, where people are not quick to just offer solutions or offer advice. Sometimes you just want to be heard, and then you come up with your own solutions without anybody, shaming you or having sarcastic retorts. Like we just begin to downgrade or downplay the severity of another person's pain. I'm a man, and then a woman is abusing me, a woman is beating me, and now people are like, but then it is actually real. Gender based violence is real. Even men are experiencing it. So sometimes you just want a place where it is not biased. Psychologists, we're not even encouraged to counsel our own family members. Doctors are not encouraged to treat their own family members because there tends to be a lot of emotion involved. Hence, bias is inevitable. So that is a myth that we need to just correct. Okay. Another myth is therapy is going to cure all my problems. The therapist is going to tell me what to do. It's like having a paid friend. Again, a therapist is not supposed to just tell you what to do. If you have a therapist like that, sometimes they're just taking your money. These people are not all perfect, remember. Okay, they're still people. So you need to have an environment where the therapist encourages you to speak up with the manner that you want. This person-based approach where it's all about you, and what you want us to do is what we're going to do. But I provide you with an environment where there's acceptance, where there's no judgment, where there's no bias, and there's confidentiality. Your stories are not just going to be running around on campus or wherever. You know that everything is going to stay between the two of us. All right. So a therapist just does not always tell you what to do. A therapist is supposed to listen, supposed to guide you. It's like having your mind exposed, and you have thought A, thought B, thought C there, and you can nicely just reflect back and see, okay, maybe I could do this in a safe and an encouraging environment. All right, so that is a myth. All right, so another myth is, now, this is a lot of people that I've heard, in the ghetto, people walking around in Zim, where you see a lot of problems. Everybody is unemployed. Almost everybody is struggling with something. So people are like, there's no need, to complain. There's no need to change the status quo. Everybody is like this. So why should I go for help? Why should I go for therapy? Besides, therapy is a waste of time. It is for rich people. Quite frankly, it is for white people from the Western world, because we do not have problems here. Let me tell you something. Issues, stress, anxiety, depression, suicide does not say, this is a poor black person. Let me go to the white person in America. They're all, I remember there was a boy who was in upper 6 who committed suicide just last year, jumped from a 6-story building and dropped and died immediately. He was not white. and he was 18. So issues, regardless of race, regardless of where you're coming from, whether you're black, whether you're white, if I cut you, yeah, you're not going to bleed black, you're not going to bleed white, you're going to bleed blood, because at the core, we're still human beings, we're still people, we feel the same things. If I lose a loved one, I'm not going to just smile because I'm black. I'm going to cry, and a white person is not going to scream. You're going to be hurt the same. So what am I saying? Issues are not for another gender or another race. Issues affect everybody. Problems affect and impact everyone in the world. And sometimes we need help to deal with the things that we'll be experiencing, not because we are white or we are black. Okay, so that is a myth we need to correct. The biggest one is therapy is for people who are severely and mentally damaged. Vanhu vatinoona vachidya mumabhini, vanhu vatinoona vachinhonga marara vachimhanya vasina kupfeka, people we see running around rampant, their mental faculties are already gone. And that is why a lot of people would then get so upset, get so offended when they're told go for therapy, because they think the other person is assuming they're mad, they're assuming they're crazy or they're nuts. It is not so. Firstly, if a person is running in the streets naked, they're obviously not going to get the idea to go for therapy, because they will never even get that idea. Somebody else obviously has to do that for them. So a person who's going for help does not necessarily mean they're crazy. Sometimes you want to understand where you should go with your career. Sometimes you're about to get married, so you need counseling, you need therapy. Sometimes your marriage is not working. Sometimes you've been through an accident and you're traumatized, you're experiencing PTSD. There are a whole lot of issues that could cause a person to just go look for a therapist. Sometimes you do not have parents. Sometimes you do not have friends. Sometimes you do not have siblings. Sometimes you do not have mentors or anybody to help you. So you go for the next best thing. A professional who is going to help you in a guided environment that is safe. So let me tell you something. These are some of the myths that I have found. You can add more. There are more, obviously, but I just want to encourage people who are maybe from Zimbabwe, maybe from South Africa, or whatever black community, or whatever community you come from, and you've been holding things inside because of whatever thing you've believed of therapy. Some families will be like, we'll expose our families, we'll shame our families, but then sometimes all these things that are being done in secret in families are bringing about pain, and people are suffering in silence because of these secrets that are behind closed doors. Let's go to therapy. Let's look for help. And if it is not for you, I'm not saying therapy is the best thing that you can do. I'm not saying if you go for therapy, then all your problems are going to be solved. But you never know if you've not tried it. I will get into what you should look for when you go and see a therapist. Who are they? What to expect, and what you should do. But for now, I just wanted to show you that some of the things that we think about therapy are holding us back and are causing us to just hold on to things that are causing us not to accept ourselves, embrace ourselves, and listen to ourselves. And we are not acting and functioning from our fullest potential. And quite frankly, sometimes we're hindering the healing that God wants to give us, that God has given us, because we keep holding on to our past. Now, therapy is not for everybody, but if you want to go for therapy, please do, because it will not hurt you. I mean, it is your choice, right? This is my advice. You do what you have to do. I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for listening, and be blessed.